Hey, what are you doing in here? Who are you?
Gods damn it! I knew it was a mistake to bring you.
I can fix this.
Put that down!
What are you doing, you idiot?
Making a quick exit.
Boy, alerting the whole fucking city! Get a move on!
Get back here with my father's ring, you thieving urchins!
Whoa! Oh, hello, Merai.
What do you stop for? He's right on our tail. Oi! Hi, your holiness. Come to fucking lend a hand.
Oh, hello. I was just coming to see how the job was going. Any luck?
Yeah, we got the ring, but we gotta fucking move. He's right on our arse.
Where'd you scoundrels go?
Relax. Step aside.
You there! Stop those thieves!
You see not, you hear not.
What have you done? You witch! I'm blind! Wait, am I speaking? Can anyone hear me? I hear nothing! Oh gods, help me!
Fucking hell. I'm glad we're on the same side.
Yes, well, that will only last a minute, so we should be on our way.
I pity this poor man. First we steal his father's ring, then we make him grovel in the street.
I'll remind you, his father was horribly corrupt and arrested many innocent people. A minute of blindness and deafness is less than most would think he deserves.
Yeah, stop your aching heart, you big babby. You're making me gag.
Very well.
Come, the others are waiting.
My life is over! I cannot return to my wife! Oh, I can see again. And hear again. Suppose I've made enough of a fool out of myself then. Just go home.
Hey, what's up everybody? Bionic Asai here, and today we are taking a look at my next and favorite D&D custom, Merai Letherit. So, Merai is a character of mine that I created and was playing in a campaign for a period of a few months over the summer. I had to leave that campaign, unfortunately, because of a new job, but I really fell in love with Merai as a character, and I really had a lot of fun coming up with her backstory and her character design and design elements that tie into her backstory. Initially, I did want to make a Tiefling character like Merai is, and I did have an idea to make a Cleric, which she is. And I did want to make a pink-skinned Tiefling, just because I liked the sound of it. But initially, the character was going to be a guy, and so I used a D&D character name generator to get a male Tiefling name, and that came out with Merai. And without even thinking about any similarly named characters that I have worked with or on in the past, I took that and then kept brainstorming the character. As I was designing them, I just liked the idea of a female Tiefling more. So I kept the name, changed the gender, and started designing the outfit, which went through several design iterations, as well as Merai herself went through several design iterations. I will put up a few on the screen for you. She was very pale, almost, but I can't stand looking at those images of the initial design anymore. And so, as soon as I got to that part where I had that much of the design, I wanted to start seeing if I could make a figure of her, because I had already been making some of my D&D characters as figures at that time. So I played with some ideas and worked out some options, and the weird pinky fleshy tone just really wasn't working. I had a paint that would work, but it's a paint that dries really flaky, and so wouldn't just work very well. So I looked at some options, and I found this body, the Lightning Collection SPD Pink Ranger, which had already sort of that one black arm that I had kind of envisioned, and had the bracelets like I had in mind, and the sculpt allowed for a necklace, which I liked. So I decided to adapt Merai to be more in line with like the hot pink of the figure when designing her, and then I gave her the full iris and pupilless eyes like tieflings tend to have, and so that's sort of where the design started to come through. But initially she was going to have a purple dress, and I'll throw another image up on screen of that. And so when I was designing her, I had that in mind, and so I got this to be the dress, because it had the sort of angled cut that I liked. It ended up being way too tiny, and when I tried to dye it purple before even realizing that it was way too tiny, it didn't really work very well, and that just came out as more of like a really, really dark purple. So it didn't really pan out, and this was the second one that I got. So initially, I ordered this dress, because I was like, well, alright, I'll just have to like custom order a purple dress for her, and so I did. And while I was waiting for that one to arrive, I realized that priests and priestesses of her faith tend to wear white. So I ordered, while the purple dress was coming in, another one of the little dress, because it comes in white. So for most of the earlier design phase, as you saw in those first few concept images, she had a staff more akin to this in design. Yes, that is a little Lego crystal on top, but that was her initial staff design. And when I got into doing some more research about members of her faith, I found out that they prefer to have silver over anything else as their metal of choice, which I wanted to incorporate into the staff, but wasn't so concerned with incorporating on her person, because I do like the look of the gold jewelry. But so that led me to make this staff. I also found out, since she worships a deity of the moon, that they tend to have moonstones, so I wanted to get a marble that could effectively represent a moonstone and have that on the top of the staff. That is the moonstone staff design versus the initial. And then a big feature of her character and her motivations starting out was this holy book of hers that she carries on her person. There'll be more about that in the backstory section at the end, but I found one on eBay that was to scale and has actual pages and legible text. I think I believe it's not in English, but it would be readable otherwise. And then this dagger as well was something she acquired during my time in the campaign that I wanted to represent on the figure. And then the belt was an added flourish because I needed something to hold the book on and hold the knife on, or the dagger, and then the pouches just made sense, as she is a cleric and would have supplies for spellcasting and other things like that. So as I got into earlier, the name Merai, Merai, was initially supposed to be a male character's name, but I brought it over to her when I changed the gender over. The hair and the hair color was just what I thought looked good with the skin tone, and the eye color I thought looked nice and complemented the original staff quite well. But it all kind of turned out to have, in its completion, especially with the initial purple dress and the black top, quite a similar aesthetic or theme, if you will, to a certain Merai, especially the hairstyle with the braid in the back and the hair color. This is an extra head that is mirrored. We'll get into that in accessories. But so all of that was coincidental, funny as it may be. There may have been some some subconscious influence, but it was not intentional whatsoever. But it's fun. I'm not keen to change Merai in any way because of any similarities to another character. She's still a very, very different character, as a person than Merai ever has been. So they are purely aesthetic similarities and I guess name as well. So let's move on to her accessories proper. So, taking a look at Merai's accessories, she has quite the number. She has 3 separate and differently sculpted tails that I hand sculpted. Obviously, they don't look great, but they get the job done more than well enough. And they are articulated at the base, which I will show off before we get into the comparisons. And then here is the third one. And they're all about the same length. I tried to get them as close as I could. We have both this one is called the Moonglow staff, whereas this one does not have a name. She has 2 fist hands and 2 open hands. She has her Moon Maiden's Glow Holy Book. She has her straw hat, and she has her Moon Dance dagger. She also has the purple and white extra dresses, if you really want to call those accessories. The white dress on her is securely glued to the body at the neck, so it's not going anywhere. She also has 2 alternate heads. I would like to at some point make her some heads with some different expressions, but these ones, this is the base head, and then this one is just mirrored. But they both look really nice. I do think that somehow the mirrored head turned out to look a little bit more annoyed or serious than the main head, which I do like. The hair colors are also slightly different because this one had to be repainted, but that is all right. Seeing as I do have so many alternate accessories for her, I am thinking about getting another Pink Ranger body and making a second Merai altogether with the purple dress and the blue crystal staff and the extra head. I just think it would be cool to have both of her primary designs represented. I'd have a lot of fun with that. But let's move on to her tail articulation, just to show that off and how that works. So the back of Merai here has this little joint that I got from a knockoff Figma figure, and so I dremeled a hole in the back and secured the tail in, or the joint in, so that it could move, and then designed the sculpted the tails actually around the other end of the joint so that they would fit on and be able to twist and then bend and then twist again. So came out pretty well. I wish the joint was a better color. Obviously it's like a flesh tone, but otherwise it works pretty dang well. Moving on to Merai's size comparisons. Here we have her with Thawzek and Belmoon. And here we have her with Nathan Drake and Batman. Nathan Drake and Thawzek being my only other two customs so far with full cloth outfits. Here she is with a G.I. Joe Classified Series Scarlet and the Lightning Collection SPD Pink Ranger. And to wrap things up, the Black Series Stormtrooper and the Marvel Legends Custom Avenger John Walker. And that about does it for Merai. Hope you guys like her a lot. I really love her. I think her design's great. I think she's adorable. I had a lot of fun figuring out the tails and coming up with the design and working out how to attach the dagger and the book and working with the staff. And so, yeah, she's a lot of fun. I like her a whole lot. Hope you guys like her. Let me know what you think and who you might like to see next. And stick around for the next section, which is the backstory, if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
When Merai was just a baby, she was left on the doorstep of the Church of Saloon in the city of Waterdeep. She was found and raised by one of the priestesses, Amantria Letherit, of the Silver Ladies Order. She took on Amantria's last name and quickly became one of the most dedicated Selûnites of the church. However, due to a divide in the church's leadership, an extremist sect of the faith, the Swords of the Lady, began to turn on the other orders. This group deemed that only one book was the truth of Saloon, so they deemed a sacred text that was entrusted to Amantria's care to be heretical. In the midst of night, the Swords of the Lady attacked the church. Amantria passed the text to Merai and told her to run and find refuge among the smaller temples of Saloon. As Merai fled the temple that night, she saw Amantria for the last time, witnessing her murder at the hands of the extremists. She was powerless to stop them, so she had to keep running. With the book in her care, she fled Waterdeep and has been looking for safety since.